Hey guys, it's me, the most targeted citizen. It's a cool day in South. It's a cool day in the South. You guys know I am a sponge for information. In the last 8 or 9 months, I've really got into what the Bible talks about, as in sharpening your sharpening yourself. Adding fire to yourself to make yourself stronger. So I've gotten into these biblical debates, and I'm not just talking about two guys sitting and talking about the Bible. I'm talking about guys debating Islam and Christianity and Jehovah's Witness and all these other pagan religions against Christianity. And I have learned so much. The recent debate, and you may never even heard these people, but there's a recent one that's blowing up all over the news right now. It's Billy Carson. Billy Carson's a black man, and he goes around. He's been on all the big shows, Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David. He's been on all these shows, and he talks about how he's read all these manuscripts and he denies the God of the Bible as the true God, and he talks about all this stuff that he's read and how he's the most intelligent and blah 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 about all these subjects. Now, if you put me in a room with a rocket scientist and we start talking about the theory of relativity and we start talking about explosions and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to sound like a caveman. Okay, I'm not going to be able to put up a good enough argument except the argument from common sense. I know that fire can create combustion. Okay, fire ignites with fuel, you have combustion. Boom, something blows up. Okay, now that's as simple as I can tell you and probably as complicated as I can explain it. But that's my point when it comes to debating people and subjects you don't know. Billy Carson has run around the internet and gotten rich, gotten ungodly amount of wealth from spewing his garbage about I read the book about Thoth and the book of Jesus' wife and I've read the Bartholomew Bible, and he's just read all these manuscripts, and he just claims that all these manuscripts just say the Bible ain't real. Jesus didn't burn the Barnabas Bible. You know who Barnabas was in the Bible. And as he's saying all this garbage to all these places he's going and grifting to, no one has the knowledge to be able to bite back and knock him down. So I've known of him, and I've watched. He does a lot. He's got a lot on YouTube Shorts where he talks about. I can't even think. What he says is so ridiculous, and I'm just triggered by the debate that I've been watching. But in this debate against this guy named Wes, and I'll share the video with you. Wes is an actual scholar. He actually goes through the manuscripts. He helps translate. He writes his own parchment. I mean, this guy's a genius when it comes to biblical texts, when it comes to Greek, and I mean, he knows all the languages. This is what he does. So in other words, he's a rocket scientist, and Billy Carson is dumber than me. Why would Billy Carson be dumber than me? Well, I wouldn't say dumber than me, but corrupt. Because he relies on others' ignorance to make him appear intelligent. So I've watched a whole bunch of snippets where this guy Wes Billy makes a point and he says, I get it from this Bible. And then Wes is like, oh, well, that's been proven that's a fake book. And Billy says, oh, okay, we'll skip along. And then Wes says, whoa. You said this Bible is wrong, but you mentioned the other one about Jesus' wife's Bible, and that one's a forgery as well. And he goes down the line, knocking down everything that Billy has based his career on. Why? Because Billy's never had any pushback. So he keeps trying to jump over it. And the host in this matter, the host makes this speech of, I hate the Old Testament, and I heard it when I was growing up, and that God in that Bible is so evil, and he's so mean, and it just doesn't seem right. But the story of Jesus really saved my life, and I'm a Christian because Jesus is love. Well, when you set the context up like that, you realize that this guy is a little crooked too. Because you can't take the Bible and believe the pieces that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Everything in the Bible is a lesson. Every story is a lesson. Jesus talked in parables because it's easier than speaking straight one-on-one to someone to tell something that relates to what they can relate to. Well, this guy, halfway through, as Wes is just wiping the floor with Billy, wiping the floor with him. Then the moderator comes in. Well, in the Bible, it talks about slavery, and God wouldn't be a God of slavery. So then Wes starts to explain the context of slavery. No, I've heard that. I just don't know. That's not right. God is wrong. God should not have put that in. Why would he even put that in the Bible? And my mouth out here, do I got mud on my chin? My chin hit the ground. 20 minutes ago, he's, oh, Jesus, I love Jesus, and Jesus saved my life, and so did him. And now he's questioning God. And then the story came up of, and Wes was trying to explain about the women wearing jewelry and how it akins them to being prostitutes. Well, the story was about women wearing jewelry being shiny because they were prostitutes. And then this little beta boy chimes in again. Oh, I just don't want to hear that. I just cannot believe that God would put that in the Bible. That's just wrong of him. And if I ever get in front of him, I'm going to tell him my mind. And I'm like, you're going to do what? And in the background, Billy's saying, God didn't write the Bible. Men did. Flawed men. This world is full of mentally ill people. Flawed men wrote the Bible. It had nothing to do with God. And if I can give you a little context on Billy, this is Billy's idea of God. I don't believe in God. I believe I am a God. I don't hope, wish, and pray to some imaginary being. I will it to be done. I don't jump on an airplane and pray God's going to keep me safe. I tell the world I'm going to be safe. This is the blasphemous nature of this black man that you've probably never heard of. So I'm listening, and as most time happens, the debates become 2 against 1. So here's Wes. It isn't a debate about Christianity, which the moderator has now switched it to. It was a debate on what Billy knows and how it is either true or disproving of the Bible. It either disproves the Bible or it doesn't. And here's the moderator. Well, God just seems mean, and I just think that they shouldn't have put that in there. Well, we should just throw away the Old Testament and just stick with the new stuff, because how dare God ask Abraham to kill his only son? What kind of God? Now, I understand when God told Jesus to die on the cross for me, I can understand that love. But for God to be so cruel and to test him, like he gets right there to cutting his son, and then God's like, oh, psych, I'm just kidding. And I am just welling up with anger, and I go to text my comment, but I got kicked off YouTube for speech this morning. I watched so many of these debates, and I did not know there are rules to debates. And you think there are basic rules, but no, there are intricate rules to each debate that you're going to go into. I watched another one with The Crucible, Andrew Wilson, and he was debating this Muslim guy called the Muslim Lantern. And the rules of the debate were the Muslim Lantern was going to explain why it's okay for Muhammad to approve of child brides. Okay, that was the point that was on him. And Andrew would have to defend the Trinity. Now, when you do that, Andrew said, we've already got the rules. The rules are you can't make a straw man. In other words, you defend that point. Why is childhood brides okay according to Allah and Muhammad, why is that okay? And you don't prove that point by going, but Christians do this, because that's called a straw man argument. You can't turn over here and well, Christians do this, so that doesn't explain why Muhammad said it was okay. You don't say, I decided to go to the store. I did that because my Aunt Babaloo over here went to the bacon farm. What? You're going to the store? What's that got to do with Uncle Babaloo going to the bacon farm? See, it doesn't make sense. And there's a such thing called the Muslim shuffle. If you watch Muslims debate, because they are deceptive, they are deceivers, they are evil. Any religion whose number one prophet takes a 6-year-old girl, marries her, and consummates that marriage when she's 9, that's evil. Any religion that says you must go out and kill the non-believers, that's evil. Any religion that says that you may strike your wife if she offends you, that's probably an evil religion. So I just get filled up because I've never heard the arguments. And once you start listening to arguments, because you're sharpening your skills in biblical knowledge, which we should have no. And see, we should be reading our Bibles. I just can't read my Bible. I know I should, but I cannot keep it. I can't grasp the knowledge because I'm under such attack all the time. People will consider it spiritual attack, but I'm under mental abuse all the time from the weapons they got me. And I can never turn my mind off. I can never stop because I'm constantly being bombarded with thoughts and voices and noise, and it's constant nonstop. And I've just had to adapt. That's why I keep my life so simple. It's not the reason I'm alone all the time. It's just the fact that I'm alone all the time. So when I'm alone all the time, I can control my environment. That's why I don't go places. Why I don't hang out at the mall. I don't go to ball games and sports events and stadiums and music. I don't do none of that because I don't like to be around people, because I am gang stalked everywhere I go, in that truck and that truck. Why would I go and get in the middle of 10,000 people where 500 people could be gang stalkers? Why would I do that? Because I'm not stupid. So watching this debate with this, there's so many people, and I have done my fair share, and I will continue to do my fair share of making God look bad and making God embarrassed of me, because we are evil. We are just evil, and there is not one good amongst us, just as God says. But when you watch these debates, and there's a lot of good ones. One of my favorite is Sam Shimon, SAMSHOMON. Sam Shimon. And this man has the Bible, the Quran, Jehovah's Witness Bible. He has everything you can imagine memorized. And he's just blah, 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 blah. And he talks like Paul does. Because if you start blaspheming against God, he takes down every Jehovah's Witness, every Muslim. We're talking evil Islamists, like who will proudly say, yeah, we need to cut your heads off. And he just debates them constantly, day after day, night after night. He's debated everyone. He's debated other Christians when they're coming wrong about the Lord Jesus Christ. But I like Sam Shimon. I like another channel called God Logic. The guy's name's Avery. It's a black guy, younger guy. He's probably in his 30s, but he is so warm and intelligent and articulate, and he's so kind. And these people travel the world going like what they call Speaker's Corner in Great Britain. And that's where all the religions go, and they stand out there in the middle of this park, and they all have debates. It's called Speaker's Corner. And I watched one last night from Avery, God Logic, when he's in New York, and he was debating another Muslim. And it's just literally every time you catch a Muslim, and this is the reason that America is failing, because the Constitution is based on biblical principles, and only a moral man will abide by the Constitution. If you're not of moral character, the Constitution means nothing. That means laws mean nothing. That's why when they created it, it was based on the biblical principles, especially the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, because to love is to protect your friends and family. So when we have people, and especially corrupt law enforcement in America, the law becomes their God. So it's all about generating that revenue. Bow to me, I told you to do this, you must. Bow to me, I told you to do that. Oh yeah, there's the plane, been over me all day. All day long. So these debates they sharpen me. But I would suggest watching a couple of them. God Logic is one of them. That's Avery's. And Sam Shimon. He's got a couple other names. But once you click on his channel, you'll see all the different debates with any kind of Christian. And it'll help sharpen you of things that you didn't know. And Sam's the one that I shared the other week when it comes to Israel not being God's people. Because once he read it in the scripture and he goes into every context, and not only goes into the context, he goes back to the Hebrew. He goes back to the original Hebrew and Greek meanings of the word, the actual linguistics, to know exactly what it's saying so you get the true definition. And once you start listening to him and seeing the exact meanings of these words, you'll realize that the pastors that have been preaching to you for all these years have no idea what they're talking about. And it's so disappointing, because I was taught my whole life that the Jewish people are God's people and God will always protect them. Well, God did not protect them, did he? They spent 40 years in the desert. I mean, God allowed the Muslims to take the holy place. God allowed Islam to take over the holiest place on earth and put a mosque there. So that should tell you right there that God did not give up on the Jewish people. God did not give up on them. They left him. When you've got the streets where Jesus walked to his death after he was scourged, carrying a wooden cross, Jesus walked up them streets. The same place that today they have gay pride parades, you will know that God did not turn his back on them. So I'll leave a link. I can't comment, so if you leave a comment to this video, I can't comment. I was watching a First Amendment audit video earlier, and if you don't know, and I've seen this pattern because I see the pattern a lot when I watch a lot of government accountability and watch a lot of news. I get news from all the big major cities around the country and around the world. The majority that I have seen, especially in Democrat cities, are run by African Americans. And a lot of them now are being run by Muslims as well. And there is so much corruption with these people. So much corruption. So I got to go. God bless.